High-speed rail or high-speed fail? It's going to be a very interesting road as Trump shuts off the federal dollars to California's stupid train. See if we can get the CBS 13 report from Sacramento.
Now, high-speed rail or high-speed fail as the feds throw California's long-talked-about project way off track tonight. President Trump making good on his promise to pull federal funding.
Now, but does this put the brakes on that project? Your reporter Madison Keevy.
Oh, yeah, it's going to put the brakes big time on this idiotic project. It's what? We passed the bond in 2005. Supposed to be completely done from LA to San Francisco. Now they got a bridge in Hanford, a third of a mile. And the first deal is supposed to go from Wasco, not Bakersfield. Wasco is about 10 miles north of Bakersfield, for Christ's sakes. Up to Merced. Oh, we got what? We got to get the drug dealers up from, because that's who's going to be riding the train. Holy bejesus. Man, this is about the dumbest, most idiotic, stupid project we have ever come up with in our entire lifetime. If this isn't number one, it's in the top freaking 3. And Mr. Moron, Gavin Newsom, trying to defend this thing. Absolutely stunning the amount of stupidity that's been going on with this project. Jobs, Newsom keeps crowing about the jobs. It was a total freaking con. Obama, the money, the $4 billion Trump canceled, the reason it's going from Wasco to Merced is that complete imbecile Barack Obama said we had to do it there, start first to get federal funding because of asthma in the Central Valley. It's the same crap that was pulled at California Air Resources Board when they put that fee in that's going to raise gas taxes up to 65 cents a gallon in the coming months. They bust them all down. Abused the poor immigrants, Spanish-speaking people, taking advantage of them. Oh, we're dying from asthma. Oh, we can't breathe. Oh, we're all going to die from diesel smoke. Well, the good news is, before California could spend the frickin' money, 10 years ago, that was it, Obama run this. Now that Donald J is in, he can cancel the whole fricassee. So hopefully it's taken the federal government to help us out on this deal. And I'm not big on federal government. I'd rather do it at the local level, but California is such a freaking failure that we're going to have to, in this case, we're going to have to rely on that. Trump, little medical condition, doesn't seem too serious. Plus the local news. Maybe we'll touch on the education, the economics. And of course, Gavin Newsom's whining about the ICE raids and all that. More to come. guitar music. It comes on every Monday through Friday live. 5 in the Evil P Network, Rumble X. Roy Bleckert on the YouTube channel. Man, is that something else. On top of who is the lesbian neurotic person who's taken over Gavin Newsom's press account? Boy, the things he's been saying on that lately, the latest one on top of the high-speed rail is fascinating, that we're getting to the absolute ridiculousness point. Sometimes I don't know, and I wouldn't want to be a prude about the whole thing or stuck in the sand of, the Victorian days or some damn thing. But it's really, really out of control. We're going to touch on some of this NPR stuff. Some of the stunning polling numbers out, despite all the nattering nabombs of negativism, how Trump's blowing it. And I don't think it's that great that him yesterday on the Solomon show, we're going to have a special prosecutor on the Epstein stuff. Caroline Leavitt coming out saying no. They need to come up with a strategy. And they need to, if Pam Bondi doesn't want to do it, then do it as a special prosecutor. Get the documents out. I don't want to hear about this stuff anymore. Or until we have some more facts. All the speculation isn't doing anyone any good. Zero. So let's cut the shinola, get the facts out, and let's move on. Again, it's just, I don't want to hear about this every day, having to hear about the Epstein or what we're going to do, or, I don't know, the social media grifters having a heart attack. Stop. Or give them some stuff to actually have a heart attack about. If you got some documents, and I'm all for it. I mean, they were convicted, Epstein and Maxwell, of running a child sex ring. Okay, from who? And again, and if you got child predators or taking part in this, they should be prosecuted too. We're just Maxwell and Epstein, the only one that were banging the minors. There were other people involved. Put it out there. Let's know who it is. Maybe we'll deal with it tomorrow, but this whole whatever CEO of some big corporation that got caught with a side check out on the Kiss Me cam, and of course it's an awkward situation. But hell, once it's out in the open, why don't you just lay a big wet one on her out there? Hey, the S has already hit the fan. You might as well have some fun with it. But I haven't followed it, but I've seen that it's going around. Maybe we'll do, it's a good Friday topic to roll around in. Plus the economy. Why are we talking about the economic stuff? Almost zero inflation, real wage growth. It's only happened in the last 60 years under Nixon, Trump 1, and now Trump 2.0. I don't know why that isn't. At least it's going to be my focus of pending things to come, because we really need to laser in on what's really important. I get the sensational stuff, and it really attracts everybody's attention. But this is from E.J. Antoni, one of the top economic guys in the world. June wholesale inflation, headline and core, which is actually a better role, not just the inflation numbers they give you. The inflation numbers you hear in your local stupid media broadcast are exempt about 80% of the things average Americans use every day: housing prices, energy prices, grocery prices. Well, hell, that's 80% of most people's budget. Core inflation takes in part of all of those. Came in at 0. But that's because May was revised without that revision, both headline and core inflation at 0.1%, bringing cumulative, I'll get that out right, inflation since January to 0.1%, annualizing rate of just 0.2%. Terrific. This is where you need to be at 0. This is about as close as you're going to get without doing it. Money supply should keep track of or keep pace with the increase in productivity in the American economy. Inflation means they're printing more money than we're expanding or selling or using in goods and services, which means eventually your dollar will be worth nothing. Like I say, $20 bills, $100 bills today are like we used to use 20 years ago, $20. I mean, you could fill up your tank and your truck, 20 gallons, for $1 a gallon, $20. Now it's 100. $5 a gallon, 20 gallons, that's 100. Quarter, we're eliminating the penny. We should eliminate the penny, nickel, and dime because they're all costing us more to make than they're worth in money. What can you buy for a penny or a nickel? There is no more nickel scoop of ice cream at Thrifty's. Well, Thrifty's is gone. Well, Monster Energy bought that. We'll see what they do with it. But I don't know how they would they might sell the regular ice cream, but I don't know how they would distribute the scoops at the, because there is no more Rite Aid. But again, nickel scoop. Before Rite Aid or Thrifty Ice Cream closed here down around the corner, I went in there. It was $2 for a single scoop. That's 20 times higher. Not that I couldn't afford it. I wouldn't pay $1, $2, $1.99 for a single scoop of ice cream just on the freaking principle. Even at inflation, what from, say, the mid-70s, 8 times more, should be 40 cents. This is why we're having real wage growth, because inflation's getting knocked down, the hidden tax, the hidden wealth robber. And now your dollar is buying you more. Would you rather make 10 cents an hour or $100 an hour? Well, most people say, "Oh, I'd rather make $100 an hour." Well, if your $100 won't buy you a loaf of bread, and it wasn't that long ago, if you take back 100 years, a dime would probably fill up half or a full grocery bag. So it isn't the amount of money you make or the amount of assets you have. It's what that stuff will buy or do for you or your family. And that's what a lot of people forget or don't take into account of. And you really should. We don't teach this stuff in school anymore. We may get to the education stuff maybe today or tomorrow. But that stuff really matters in your life more than you will ever know. And if you don't take these things into account, you will be the one that suffers immensely. This was some interesting poll numbers coming up from CNN's Harry Enton.
I mean, look, I think this one surprised me a bit because of all of these complaints online going after Trump and the Epstein files. You might think his approval ratings were going down with Republicans. If anything, they're going up. Republicans who approve of Trump, look at our CNN poll. The prior one, 86%. The one out this week, 88% were Republicans. How about Quinnipiac? The prior poll, 87% approval of Republicans. This week out, 90% with Republicans. If anything, Donald Trump's approval rating has gone up since this whole Epstein saga started. He is at the apex or close there too in terms of his popularity with Republican voters, Epstein files, complaints or not.
You just proved that not everything online is real.
Yes.
That's a fact. Everything online is not real. Because you see, among Republicans, Trump's
20 seconds, 20 seconds.
are actually going up. We'll get into this more in the high-speed rail. We'll update more of the high-speed rail story and some more stuff. Coming on, as Jesse said, be joining the Mighty Met KMET here in a very few seconds.
2 seconds, here we go.
Hey.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program's user and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of Radio Station Campus, management, employees, or affiliates.
That's on the slide guitar music. Comes on every Monday through Friday, live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire, the aforementioned AM band. Joining our vast video audience at Evil FB Network, Rumble, X, Roy Bleckert on the YouTube channel. Check us out, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Trump, Donald J. cancels the $4 billion on the idiotic, stupid, ridiculous high-speed fail, the train to nowhere, the bullet train. It's been going on for 20 years. They've laid a third of the track in Wasco, California, of all places, just north of Bakersfield. It doesn't go from Bakersfield. This deal, it's not going from Bakersfield to Merced. It's going from Wasco, which is about 20 miles north of Bakersfield. You're going to have to hire a meth head or heroin addict from Bakersfield to Uber you over to the train station or whatever to get there to a cluster foxtrot of major proportions. Trump has carried out his promise and canceled the $4 billion stupid train. See if we can roll up what Donald J. had to say as he was doing this and signed the order to cancel the Fed money.
One of the things I want to investigate rapidly, because I've never seen anything to this extent, the train that's being built between Los Angeles and San Francisco is the worst managed project I think I've ever seen, and I've seen some of the worst. Billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars over budget. In fact, I read where you could take every single person that was going to go on the train and get the finest limousine service in the world and take them back and forth with limousines, and you'd have hundreds of billions of dollars left over. It is the worst thing, and we're going to start.
That's no joke. That's 110,000% zero joke of what Trump is saying. And more of the almost beyond the pale things we could have, and this is former state senator and assemblyman, now congressman, I think from the 5th District up in NorCal now, Tom McClintock. When I opposed the high-speed rail 25 years ago, that's when this was being discussed in the legislature. In 2000, I calculated that we could add 2,000 miles of new freeway lanes to our most densely congested corridors for the same price. That is still true. Mind you, that price was what? 28 billion? Now it's projected to cost 128 billion and goes up God knows how much every year. For what Newsom has already wasted, we could have added more than 200 miles. 200 miles of freeway that we could have had in California of new freeway to relieve the traffic congestion on the 405 down in LA, on the 60 and the 10 in the Inland Empire, on the 91 and 55 down in Orange County. And the list goes on. What, 8 down in San Diego? What is it, 510 and all that up in San Fran, which is packed 24/7, 365. 200 miles of brand new freeway. What do we get? A third of a mile of bridge that ain't even done in Hanford, California. And most of you probably don't even know where the hell that is. This stuff, again, if this isn't the biggest cluster foxtrot in human history, it's got to be in the top 3.
Rapidly, because and you'd have hundreds of billions of dollars left over. It is the worst thing, and we're going to start an investigation of that because it's not possible. I built for a living, and I built on time, on budget. It's impossible that something could cost that much. And now it's not even going to San Francisco, and it's not going to Los Angeles. They made it much shorter. So now it's at little places way away from San Francisco and way away from Los Angeles. No.
1,000%. Wasco, which is about 20 miles north of Bakersfield, which everybody's clamoring to get to, And then Merced, go up the 99 corridor, the heroin capital of the world. Go check it out. The 99 corridor from Bakersfield to Sacramento. One of the biggest drug capitals of the world. Now, remember, bullet train was supposed to be straight shot, Los Angeles to San Fran, 2 hours. Now the proposal is you get on a Amtrak from San Francisco to Merced, then Merced to Wasco on the bullet train, then a bus from Wasco to Los Angeles take you 8 hours. You can drive. You can drive from Los Angeles to San Francisco in your own automobile in 8 hours. It's only 400, but it's about 400, 350, 400 miles. You can make that in your own automobile. Don't have to wait for nobody or that, or have to sit there with the crack dealer and hope you don't get your head bashed in or killed or shot or raped or fondled.
No, we're going to start a big investigation on that because I've never seen anything like it. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. The word
1,000%. And again, if this has got to be the most corrupt, worst, imbecilic, stupid project in the history of the world. Bridge to Nowheres in Alaska or whatever, pale in comparison to this.
Worst overruns that there have ever been in the history of our country.
I would say in the history of the world, of humankind on planet Earth. There's no way we could deal with this much stupidity. Or ignorant, imbecilic stuff. Of course, Gavin Newsom's got to whine about it. As only he can.
$1 billion in federal funding for California's high-speed rail project. The president saying, quote, this boondoggle led by the incompetent governor of California, Gavin Newsom, his words, not mine, has cost taxpayers hundreds of billions of dollars, and we have received nothing in return except cost overruns. The railroad we were promised still does not exist and never will. This project was severely overpriced, overregulated, and never delivered. Katie Zachariah is a Republican strategist, attorney, and the senior advisor for Fix California. She joins me now. Great to have you on the program, Katie. Look, this project has been an absolute disaster from the start. It was happening when I was in California like 9 trillion years ago. Your reaction to Trump shutting down the money spigot?
It's absolutely necessary. Look, it's been 16 years since Gavin Newsom set out, or since California set out on this. And it was supposed to be 800 miles. Now it's 161. It was supposed to be LA to San Francisco. Now it's Merced to Bakersfield, which nobody will take. And so Gavin Newsom has shown clearly he cannot save money, spend money well, or use the money he's been given in a way that's effective for the California citizens or American citizens. It's a waste of tax dollars.
Of course, Gavin Newsom responding, saying
looking like. Of course, Gavin Newsom doing the most idiotic stuff. 200 miles. We could have had 200 miles of brand new freeway. Brand new freeway. We got 1/3 of a mile of a bridge. In Hanford. Absolutely. I don't even, again, I start running out of words, which I thought I would never, and probably nobody else ever thought would happen. The stunning, idiotic stupidity that has gone on with this, again, like Trump said, you cannot believe.
President Trump with the boondoggle, we're going to pull $4 billion. We're not going to let you spend another tax dollar. But Gavin Newsom has made it his job to fight President Trump on every single policy that he's doing. He's earmarked tax dollars of California, $50 million, to fight the sanctuary state policies against President Trump. And so it just shows he's continuing to fight issues that are not winning issues, and anything that it takes, he'll fight President Trump on.
Speaking of fighting, that sounds familiar with one attorney general here in the state of New York. Let's go to Oklahoma, though.
Whining and crying about this, about the high-speed fail. And again, all he knows how to do anymore is criticize Trump at every opportunity. This one is stunning. And I don't know whether this is a lesbian on steroids or whoever this Izzy chick or dude or whatever that's taken over runs Newsom's press office, official press office from the state of California. This is what's going out under your name, California residents. Ashley Zavala points this out. Governor Gavin Newsom tells reporters in LA he will not apologize for this. And there's some, I don't know, clown named Izzy runs the press office. This fascist cuck, C-U-C-K, in D.C. continues his assault on the democracy and the Constitution, and his attempt to replace the sovereignty of the people with autocracy. That's from Gavin Newsom's press office, and he's standing by it. Let's hit the deal. We'll find out is he something or other. Oh, puts on his profile, I'm a gay, how couldn't have guessed that. This has been going on for about 2 weeks or two. Well, it's been getting worse the last 2 or 3 weeks. So if you're in the state of California, this is what's being put out in your name as a resident through your representative, the governor of the state of California. This sort of ridiculous nonsense. No, this is, again, this looks like somebody who's having a hormone rejection attack by taking too many or something. Steroids have burnt their brain out or something. I find it utterly inconspicuous, unacceptable, and the people of the state of California should definitely be up there with pitchforks and torches, figuratively, demanding Newsom resign. Here he is whining about the National Guard and such. Here we go.
An opportunity to visit with business leaders, small business. When I say mom and pop, I mean mom, dad, kids, grandkids, generational businesses. In Bell, I met one business owner They've been 20 years in business. They said, we miss COVID. They said it was much easier.
Holy cow. Oh yeah, how much were, if first, how much were they in this country legally? How much were they ripping us off? Oh, of course it was much easier COVID because you were taking money out of our pockets with a gun, ding dong, and giving it to somebody else. Of course that was easy. They didn't have to steal it. They could use this a-hole to do it for them. The people, unless you're a crook or a thief, you should be totally PO'd about this whole, that statement right there. Oh, it was easier under COVID. Why? Because Gavin Newsom was taking from the evil white hillbilly and given to me. Bell, California, what, 98.7% Hispanic, probably 111% illegal. Remember the Rizzo deal and all that, how he was using them as the slaves? And he's going to point to Bell, California, for Christ's sakes.
They have lost 80% of their business. And they said they've lost something more precious, which really put it in perspective. They said they've lost a sense of community. They said they missed their customers, not the business. They missed the tables being filled. That's what a family business is all about.
Oh yeah, just flaunt the law. Everybody can do what they want. Well, yeah, of course they missed their business. They missed their business that you were immorally, unethically taking money from somebody else and giving to them. Yeah, of course. Paying for their employees to sit home, them to sit home. Well, of course that was easier. Didn't have to open the doors, do nothing. Newsom sending checks in.
They're barely making ends meet. They're trying some catering work. They have a 15-year employee. He won't even show up to work. He's here with documentation, but he's...
Then why isn't he showing up for work? I got to hear this one.
Scared to death. He hasn't shown up in weeks since 4 raids occurred and nearby. He won't even show up because he's scared to death of being pulled over for simple reason because of the way he looks.
If you're in this country legally and lawfully, there is no possible reason why you should be afraid of anything, of driving, going to your job. Of course, when they're picking up millions of people, yeah, there's going to be some people that get inadvertently, what was it, the old Cheech and Chong movie, Born in East L.A.? Yeah, but we find those, and okay, ollie oxen, that's, hell, I've been detained by law enforcement officers several times. That's law enforcement. They don't know what's going on. They're trying to sort out the situation. If you're not doing anything, and I've never been hauled in just because of this, that, the other, they cleared the situation, got a resolution, and you're free to go and you move on. You're being detained. When you're going down the street and the dude flips on the red light, if you're doing 5 miles an hour, don't have your seatbelt on or whatever, that's being detained. It's called law enforcement, keeping the peace and the law and order. Ding dong. And if you're not doing anything illegal, then this guy's on his own. He's making a voluntary decision and not to go to work. Maybe he doesn't like the company. Maybe now he's tired, or since under COVID, when this ding dong had him sitting at home and he's cashing the checks, Oh, yeah, well, now I got to go to work. I ain't liking this so much. I tell you what, if it wasn't for Donald J. straightening this stuff out, I don't know where in tarnations we would be at any of this stuff. Well, I do know we'd still be working on $4 billion would be going down the rat hole on that high-speed rail fail. Guaranteed 1,000%, no doubt about it at all. Oh, man. We'll get it straightened out. Hit some of the local genre before we sign out on this practice Friday. We'll see how it goes. City of Riverside just got a deployment of their new search and rescue operation crew, so thank goodness to them for having that. Oh, let me get on the right enchilada. What else is on that? Chad Bianco, sheriff, was at a sold-out breakfast meeting at the Corona Chamber of Commerce. It's always nice when you get something stuck in your eye during the middle of the show. Riverside Council bans downtown and midtown cannabis retailers, so no weed in downtown Riverside. Coming up, Redlands Police Department releases their weekly crime capers going on. You're not going to have to smog your classic car under 1990 bill is moving through. The Jay Leno and Shannon Grove have been touting. It passed through another Senate committee, so hopefully that gets passed. There's an old one. Way back in the day in Corona, Crown Garage, like that's almost 100 years ago. The old Circle City's been around a bit, like River City. Explorers are hitting Harupa Valley Sheriff's Station, so good job for the kids that are getting trained in that. There's Riverside County Sheriffs with their helicopters and bloodhounds, ready to track down anyone missing or injured, out or lost. Eleanor Gatto Lubez, 51, has been charged with the murder and death of 41-year-old woman. He's hospitalized after stabbing himself. This was in Fontana. A Fontana man admits to that. We can almost guess how this all came about. Armed suspect killed in Beaumont. Warrant search, say cops there. Menifee resident sentenced to 11 years for threatening Murrieta School. Not a good idea to do. There's a Mead Valley DUI crash coming up by Lone Wolf. Had that out. Riverside County animal shelters are at the breaking point, 1,300 dogs and cats. And I get the people and I get the emotional plea of that are the ones who want the no-kill shelters. What are you going to do when you get 1,300 turns into 2,500 turns into 10,000? Give me a solution. During traffic enforcement in Moval, deputies located a loaded firearm concealed on a passenger. And more, suspect arrested for a murder in a deadly Riverside County shooting. Riverside Police Patrol officers investigated for having disabled veteran plates on personal cars. We had the gun issue there 15 years ago. Jose Tanasi. Some of this, they just never learn. Sometimes we'll see how that works out. Hello to today on this Practice Friday. We usually say it this time. Mandatory you're back here at 23 hours wide to hear the best darn shows in the wide world. Until then, see ya.
All right. Have a great night.
You got it.